Afternoon, everybody. Yes, I just wanted everybody's attention for a quick second. I am Sandra Roden, S-A-N-D-R-E with an accent over the E. If you want to get it correct, it's in your program right there. And I'll be sharing with you this evening and guiding along the proceedings. But before we go into the proceedings, I'm going to ask you to stand with me in all true spirit of patriotism as we will have our national anthem. I know you guys were waiting a little bit, and it's, as I said, the principal was going to be here in good time, and indeed, he made the time, and he was here in short order. So we're going along with the program, and we're going to have our welcome and introduction from Dr. Olivine Burke. She is the Executive Director of the Mona Social Services UWI Community Film Project, and she will bring her greetings now. Make her welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Roden. I heard you mentioned greetings, introductions, and while bringing the introductions, I'll also provide a little overview of the UWI Township Scholarship Program. So in introducing the esteemed team of persons before me, I begin with our dear principal, Professor Dale Weber. Now, Township Scholarship recipients, when I came here at the university the first time, a little while ago, a little while ago, I did not have the esteemed pleasure of going anywhere near a principal. Even when I graduated, I did not know the principal. So for you to be able to be near this principal, you are indeed very, very distinguished people yourself. So I present to you our principal, Professor Dale Weber. Trust me, it is an honor and a privilege. Also with us, we have Dr. Prendergast. Patrick Prendergast is the director for the Western Jamaica campus. I would appreciate that you all know that we have two campuses here in Kingston and Montego Bay, yeah? The Mona campus, two locations. And we have with us Mr. Lindsay, Kemoy Lindsay, from he's a director, Bauxite Lands, Bauxite Institute. We also have in our company representatives of the board, the Mona Social Services and Community Film Project Board, Mr. Seymour, Maureen Seymour. Yes, thanks for coming. Also in our midst, we have Dr. Gallimore, who has been contributing to the Mona Social Services and UWI Community Film program outreach in the communities. They have provided so many things, including tablets for our students while we were not yet face-to-face. We also have representatives from our selection panel in the form of Ms. McLean, Jacqueline McLean, from the Bursary Special Project, as well as Diane Bailey. We're so accustomed to being on first-term basis, you forget the surname, Diane Bailey. She hails from the Western Jamaica campus. And of course, in our midst, we also have representatives from the communities we serve. We have past scholars, persons from Standpipe, Augustown, Bedward Gardens, African Gardens, the 5 communities. And of course, as he's coming in, the president of the CDC, the Greater Augustown CDC, as well as with us our esteemed representatives, scholars today. And everybody else, whomever I may have forgot in the introduction, welcome to another of our ceremonies that we normally have to welcome our students and to have them have the first opportunity to grace those lovely hands of the principal with a shake hand. Okay, so that's it for introductions. So I will now go into just providing a little overview to the UWI Township Scholarship Program. Again, thank you, Mr. Roden. Now, Principal Weber, and of course I've already introduced the esteemed panel of persons on the program. In September 2008, the UWI Township Scholarship Program was established. It was established as a challenge scholarship program under the then principal, Professor Gordon Shirley, and of course the late Professor Barry Shevans, who was the head of the UWI Township project at the time. The first cohort of recipients comprised 4 young, eager, and hopeful scholars. And of course, among them was 1 mature adult. All 4 recipients graduated with first class and upper second class honors degree. Today, the UWI has made a remarkable investment of approximately $35 million in building the higher education capacity of over 100 young people. Now, of these recipients, over 50% have graduated boasting 6 first-class honors, 31 second-class, and 4 pass degrees. Consistent with the theme of our scholarship presentation ceremony today, which is themed Achieving Greatness in a Dynamic World, I take this opportunity to highlight the great achievement of one of our graduates of the UWI Township Scholarship Program, Dr. Shanae Ferguson. Shanae was the first recipient in 2009 and the first graduate of this scholarship program in 2012, receiving first class honors. In 2017, Shanae pursued the master's degree in higher educational management at UWI Mona here, from which she graduated with distinction. She topped the program overall and was awarded Outstanding Graduate and Excellence in Academic Performance. Impressively, her education pursuits for greatness, coming from the volatile community of Augustown, led her to undertake doctoral studies into 2018 at Mortgage College of Education, University of Denver in the United States. In July 2022, she successfully defended her dissertation titled An Academic Pursuit to Understand How Home Community Environments Shape First-Generation Jamaican University Higher Education Journey, University Students' Higher Education Journey. Currently, as an international professor, Dr. Ferguson is an adjunct lecturer in the Graduate School of Social Work, Denver University. She lectures a course called Power, Privilege, and Oppression. Notably, Dr. Ferguson has been establishing the UWI's agility through her presence, connections, and initiatives while teaching at the predominantly white university. While collecting her data on first-generation students, Shani, as we still call her from time to time, noticed a heartbreaking trend. Nearly every one of the students she spoke with recalled being belittled by their teachers at high school. And I quote from Dr. Ferguson's participants' experience. Our teachers would say, "You don't deserve to be at a university." The males say, "You are going to be criminals." Coming from where? Augustown? You're stupid. Dr. Ferguson remarked that if you think about higher education, this wasn't created for people like us. There's no way we from poor families would be seen at university a couple of years ago. Professor Dale Weber, the principal of the office, well, I should say Professor Dale Weber, Office of the Principal, through 3 successive principals, including himself, has widened access and transformed the lives of over 106 recipients of the UWI Township Scholarship. This 2022 cohort and first-generation university students that you are investing in, Prof, for those of you who don't know, just these 5 alone is at a cost of $6 million approximately. And they hail from what we hear in the news every day: Augustown, Bedward Gardens, Goldsmith Villa, Hermitage, and of course Glendevon in Montego Bay. And like Dr. Ferguson, they are en route to continue to change the narrative that persons have of inner city communities. I quote from former principal Professor Archibald McDonald when he expanded the scholarship program in 2013 to include the faculties of law and medicine, because prior to 2013, those prestigious faculties were not given to the students. He said, "Students, prove naysayers wrong." The over 40 graduates are living proof of his words. Ultimately, Principal Weber, these students who are beneficiaries of this higher education investment will progress from university to the world of work to serve their communities and our country, like the graduates of the program who preceded them. These graduates, the ones who have graduated, are employed in public and private sector companies, including government ministries, universities, banks, media houses, insurance companies, and hospitals. These graduates' contributions are, of course, in alignment with academic industry participation of the AAA strategy. So, sir, and students, and everyone else the selection committee who has continued to be a part of that very, very hard selection when we meet these students, and I've seen the tears as well as the joy. On behalf of all of them and their families, and especially the staff of the Mona Social Services UWI Community Film Project, who tirelessly, and in most instances under less than desirable conditions, we thank you, sir, for continuing to believe in university community engagement outreach and the objectives of the Mona Social Services Community Film Program to integrate communities and transform lives. Thank you.
Can we get another round of applause for Dr. Olive Burke? All right, so we're moving along with the program, and right now, as you can see in your program, we're moving to remarks, and we're going to have our opening remarks from the Pro Vice Chancellor and the Principal of the University of the West Indies Mona campus, none other than Professor Dale Webber. Make him welcome, please.
Mr. Roden, is that Sandre?
Yes, that's it.
With the accent over the E. I mean, I can put the accent over my E and call it Dale. Dr. Burke, Dr. Prendergast, Mr. Lindsay, Mr. McKilpin, Angela, who I saw when I came in, and Savannah, who I didn't see, but now I see her. I see you're carrying load them days, Savannah. Mr. Seymour, always here, thank you very much. And the selection team. Jackie, I hear you're on the selection team. You never tell me that. Where are you? This mass business and all. Are you a bandit? No, you're taking precautions. Honorees, awardees, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. It is my pleasure to have been asked, and even a greater pleasure to be here to share some thoughts and do a welcome and anything else that I'm asked to do at this event, because it is a very special event, and in my capacity as Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal, I think this is important, not just to you, it may actually be more important to me. I wish to welcome you to the start of what's going to be an interesting journey for you, because the university opens doors in your minds, in your communities, and in your world that otherwise you may not have been able to open. The support that is offered from the university through the scholarship program allows you to find your best potential. You may ask yourself, what will I become? That's not the question now. Your question is, how will I become? Because a first degree is not going to make you everything. In fact, a first degree just tells you what you can become. And that first degree unlocks the potential. It was so good to hear that there have been so many who have gone so far, especially those who have gone on to PhDs. That's a big step. The university has a AAA strategy. It's access, alignment, agility. And that allows us to operate within all aspects of the university. Access meaning we need more students to access the University of the West Indies. Very important. We are not an elitist university, but we are an elite university. We are in the top 1.5% of universities globally. Of 38,000 universities that are out there, we are in the top 500. That's a big place to be. And you are now a part of it, which means to whom much is given, from them much is expected. That access also has another avenue, because we are a research university that does teaching. There are some universities that are teaching universities that do research, and there's a little difference. If I am a research university, today's research can be in tomorrow's class. I can work on why this pen is blue, and because it's my research, I can do it in tomorrow's lecture. If I'm at a teaching institution that does research, then I need to wait for somebody to figure out why the pen is blue, for them to write it in a paper or write it in a book, and 2 years later it published, and then somebody reads it, puts it in their curriculum, and said, gee, blue pens are awesome. 3 years late. You are at a premier institution where research drives teaching, and you must take advantage of that. But we need to align, because again, as a university, we could be here doing anything. There was a time when the University of West Indies could do anything and get away with it, including nothing. There are now 70 other tertiary institutions operating in the Caribbean. That means competition out there rough. So we need to find the right students, find the right lecturers, and align our programs with what is needed. So the alignment is important. So access to the university, access to the research, but we must align with industry. We need to find out what are the questions out there so that we can form our research and teach on the right things. And we need to do it with agility. We can't take all year to do it. We need to do it and do it quickly. As you come to this situation, the reality of this scholarship will mean a lot to you. We did a little bit of research the other day, and we found that 54% of our university students who entered this year are the first members of their families to come to UWI. 54%. What does that mean? We can pat ourselves on the back and say, yes, we've done good. 54% is a good number, but no, 54% is a bad number because it means we haven't gone anywhere with the access yet. We need more students to have access, which is why this scholarship is so important, because it's giving access to some who I doubt would have been able to afford it otherwise. Your access now becomes part of your agility, because you need to think, where am I coming from and where am I going? Education should be available for everybody, and if I were Prime Minister, maybe I will be, I would make education free. But I know that the government can't afford it. So we need to find ways to make it happen. So the University of West Indies actually allows 10% of all students to get a scholarship. People don't realize that that means we give back $1 billion into scholarships. Now we spread that over a lot of students, you know. Some get a full scholarship, some get half, some get a bursary, some only get a room in hall, some only get tuition. And remember, you will know that being a student means you have to live somewhere, you have to get the books, you have to study hard, you have to eat, you have to enjoy yourself a little, because that is all a part of the learning. That all costs. So we need to figure out, how do we take students from that place to where they need to get to? I believe that we have impacted a lot of bright young minds, and we will do so again by this round of scholarships. So I would like to congratulate those of you who have made the step, made yourself available, and put yourself forward, because you are now my brand ambassador. You know, I got branded. Everywhere I go, I am Mr. UWI. You are now going to become Miss and Miss UWI and Mr. UWI. So you're going to be our brand ambassadors as we move forward. I'm especially touched because the first time I was asked to do this by Olivine, I met a young man who was from Augustown, who had completed a first degree in engineering with first-class honors. When I met him, I mean, he just started talking and telling me what it meant. He said his life was changed because he didn't know he could ever be an engineer. But his life got changed. His family changed in terms of what he could do, what he could bring back to the family, and how he could influence that household. His community changed because now he was able to reach people. People started looking up at him when they used to look down before. People started recognizing him, and he could make an impact by what he did and said in the community. Big difference. And now he's making a difference in the job that he's in and in the world that he's commanding. I challenge you to be on that same level. Make those differences in all the places that you go. Our Western Jamaica campus is no different, because universities are not built for themselves. We're not set here to sit on our own, but we actually need to turn ourselves inside out and represent, so that those who live immediately around us are the people we need to touch. Because the university is teaching, research, and outreach. And that outreach is an important part of doing what we do. So those who live around us must be the first ones we touch. Those who live around all our campuses must be the first ones we can touch. My challenge to you, therefore, is as you complete the cycle, remember you need to take the steps to go through the process. Take advantage of everything that the university has to offer. Don't just lock yourself away in your classroom. Take on the football field. Go to the netball court. Go to the clubs. There are photography clubs. There are actually 106 clubs at the UWI. Join one of them. Do things you've never done before. All right, so you've never played a sport before. You've never even thought of that sport. If it's offered here, take a chance. Do it. Nobody don't know who you are now. Nobody don't know where you're coming from. I know that you were a king baller or you were not. Nobody didn't know that you never even know how to match domino. But you could become the greatest domino exploit. Venture into a place that you've never been before and take advantage of it. Finally, pay it forward. You see, when you're done, remember that you have some behind you who never get the scholarship yet, and they need some encouragement. And people think pay it forward mean money, you know. It's not money. People say, give me your time. Spend some time in the community. Spend some time talking, especially to those in your community that you know. And you know that some of them have potential, but them say, can't bother, nobody think going to reach anywhere. Touch them, reach them, let them know. I want to close by thanking the MSS and the UWI Community Film Project for many things, for continuing this tradition, for keeping us going forward. And I'll give you one quick story. So when the university ran into this is about the third financial crisis we've been now. 2 of them I've had. So my first 2 years I had financial crisis. Next 2 years I had COVID crisis. But I don't know what this 5th year is bringing now, but here I am. When we had financial crisis, we had to figure out how we're going to repackage. Because you have to reinvent yourself constantly, you know. Well, Mona Social Services and the film project decided, you know, we're talking to the same people in the same way about the same things, but from different angles, different lenses, no pun intended. Why don't we put them together and make it work? It was the first example of bringing together 2 aspects, restructuring within the office of the principal. And I want to thank Professor Boxill, who isn't here. I hear him in Africa, you know, back to Africa. Well, Professor Boxill, who isn't here, Olivine, who is here, and all the team members of both MSS and the film project who made that merger work. And it is the example that we use. In every meeting I go, I use it as the first and best example of a merger. We were able to reduce the overall budget by 17% and demonstrate to the university that there are ways to do things even in financial crisis. Thank you for having led from the front, for allowing me to have leading from the front. Colleagues, I thank you for the opportunity to share. I look forward to the interaction, and I know you will make continuous, excellent decisions and be good scholars. Thank you.
We'd like to thank the Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies Mona campus for his opening remarks and mini speech. If there was nothing I got from that, I got that I should have ambition and share that ambition, because I saw the principal come up here, Mr. Lindsay, and tell us that he may become the next Prime Minister. So you can go back to your community and share your ambition when you become whatever you want to become. The next person on our list to bring remarks is indeed the director of the UWI Mona Western Jamaica campus, Dr. Patrick Prendergast. Make him welcome, please.
Principal, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all good afternoon.
Afternoon.
You know, at my campus I tell them that nobody goes after the big man. Right? You can expand on that when you come up. But I'm also happy that I'm going ahead of my pulpit. Good afternoon again. I'm just here to underscore just one little part of what the principal mentioned in terms of the university experience. And he knows that this is something that I hold dearly. The university talks about being a research and a teaching institution. Well, a research institution, we're a teaching institution. We're also very, very committed to our connection to the community, outreach. And we promote community enterprise. Right, Mr. Seymour? And so, in a way, I'm happy that we are able to participate in this activity. I try my best. I drive overnight. I sometimes push myself, but I'm always happy to be part of this experience. From the days of the community field program. I mean, Boxill, you know, Professor Boxill had it in Montego Bay as well. And so when MSS was coming fully, we were more than happy. And then to be included in the Township scholarships, that was another plus for us. And I'm really happy. I'm happy to see Miss Diane Bailey as part of this process, and she's here, sitting beside the masked one. But we are committed to this community connection and community enterprise. You know, I mean, economic development people talk a lot about economic capital. We talk a lot about developing human capital. But it's also very, very important for us to talk about building our social capital. I mean, that's a huge deficit in our society continuously, and it gets worse. But as a university, it's important for us to do everything that we can to build that social capital. And this kind of engagement and these scholarships are important in that process. I know we always talk about, you know, the inner city and vulnerable communities. You know, we treat the Montego Bay as you know, rural to an extent, but I love to remind people that it is this city of Montego Bay, not the second city, not the first, second, or third, this city of Montego Bay. And there are rural townships around the city itself. And we talk about coming out of these communities and making something of ourselves. A lot of us do come from rural communities that are poor, that are forgotten, that are remote, and try our best to make something of ourselves. And this is another opportunity for us to do that. And I want to really and truly congratulate those who have gone through the test and are being, you know, given these awards this evening. And as the principal said, it is our responsibility to pay it forward, to carry it on. Professor Shevans and I, we went back far. I love when they call me a young man. And then I speak and they're like, oh, okay, all right. But Professor Shevans and I, we go far. Well, we've done significant work across this country in various communities. And I'm so happy that, you know, the Mona Social Services were able to carry on his legacy, because he had a deep commitment and a belief in our people. Greatness is in all of us, and this is our opportunity to really go out there and show that we all can achieve. At the University of the West Indies, Mona Western Jamaica campus, when the students come there, we say, this is your place to find your bold. This is your opportunity to not only find your bold, but to go out, shine, and bring glory not only to your community, your name, but also the UWI Mona system that we know is connected deeply to the advancement of our people through these community efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Prendergast, and we are very much aware that it's the city of Montego Bay, not the first, second, third, or even fourth, but it's the city of Montego Bay. But you said something important when you look at the University of the West Indies. There is this view that the university needs to continue tapping into social capital. So this program itself would not have been successful were it not for the communities partnering with the university for this program to be a successful one. As a result, we have Mr. Ricardo McAlpin, president of the Augustown CDC, who will share with us. Please give him a round of applause and make him welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. In the dancehall industry, my management team would have caused a scuffle backstage when you realize that you have a lady star, a bounty killer, and a beanie man that is going to perform before a young artist.
Which one are you? Usually married.
So with all protocol already been established, on behalf, a pleasant afternoon to you all. On behalf of the Augustown CDC, I'd like to laud the University of the West Indies for providing the opportunity for the beneficiaries of the Augustown community to be able to pursue higher education at Jamaica premier educational institution. Give UWI a big round of applause for this opportunity. this is a very important gesture, as it is through empowerment we will see true changes within communities. And that is something that I've been beckoning for in Augustown, for persons to be empowered. And education is a very important tool in providing that empowerment that our youngsters ought to get in order to move to the next level in our society. On the other hand, I would like to congratulate the successful applicants for your hard work over the last academic year. Give yourself a big round of applause. But because without your high academic performance and achievement, you wouldn't have been able to capture this opportunity. So, in closing, I want to encourage you all to ensure that you grab this life-changing opportunity with both hands and ensure you maintain the required GPA by keeping focus at your goals and aspiration. I must say this program is an important variable in the transformation taking place in our community today. Thank you all.
Right, so little birdie flew into the room. It wasn't a hummingbird, but it was a little birdie, and said that Mr. McAlpin has some relationship with the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Is that true, Mr. McAlpin? Yeah. You know, normally youngsters from the inner city run from members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, you know, but right here and now, Mr. McCartney is giving you words of encouragement, and that is something that we think is absolutely important, where all members of the society come together and try to ensure that there's some level of upliftment for all the members who are building, growing young persons. And that's something that we absolutely appreciate, and want to thank you for your leadership with Augustown CDC and being a part of this initiative. Now, we are at a juncture where we'll have a keynote address, but I was not given the privilege to do the introduction. Instead, they said that somebody fairer than me, who had better looks than me, who would have had put on a better face than I could have in the timeline that I got here. And I'm talking about none other than Miss Angela Harris, who is the Community Development Program Manager right here at MSS UWICFP.
Thank you, Mr. Sandri. And I'm sure I'm not the beanie or the bounty killer. I'm just a regular artist like yourself, right? Professor and Principal Dale Weber, Dr. Prendergast, Director UWI Mona Western Jamaica Campus, Mr. Ricardo McAlpin, Mr. Kemoy Lindsay, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed scholars, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm so honored to be asked to introduce our keynote speaker, in no other than Mr. Kemoy Lindsay. Mr. Kemoy Lindsay is a graduate of the UWI Pelican Pride, right? University of the West Indies, where he holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in International Relations and a Master's of Science degree in International Public and Development Management. Mr. Lindsay has a passion for youth development and has worked with and founded several initiatives to support Jamaican youth. He was the founder of the Integrity Action Movement, MONA, founder of the Youth Empowerment Seminars, and co-founder to Educate for Peace initiative. In 2017, he was appointed chairman of the Hope Mentorship Program by the Office of the Prime Minister, where he successfully helped to train over 100 youth in mentorship with the help of the Heart Trust NSTA. He also served as the regional coordinator for the Commonwealth Students Association, as well as the country coordinator for the Commonwealth Youth Peace Ambassadors Network. For his many contributions to youth development, he was awarded the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Excellence in 2017, the Commonwealth Youth Development Award in 2015, the José Birrios Youth Development Award in Cuba in 2016 and was named One Young World Global Ambassador in 2018. He's also the recipient of the New York Citizen Citation for Outstanding Citizenship. Kemoy has worked in several departments in the public sector and is currently the director of Bauxite Lands at the Jamaica Bauxite Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you Mr.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I never get used to hearing myself being read about. It's always uncomfortable. But firstly, Professor Dale Weber, or should I say Mr. Bounty Killer? Dr. Prendergast, to the relentless team who have worked over the past however long to put this together and to carry through a program that is no doubt benefiting and adding so much to the country that we love. I applaud you, and I would like for us to give them another round of applause. To the students, the recipients, I'm here to speak to you. And I will ask for your forgiveness. I may jump in and out of colloquialism as I address them. In truth, with everything that Professor Dale Weber had said, my job here now is simple reinforcement. Because a lot of what you said, Professor, is perfectly aligned to what I was prepared to speak to these scholarship recipients about today. Let me give you a bit of backdrop on my journey. I was born in Spanish Town, grew up on Marchpen Road. When I first went to my mom and I told her that I wanted to attend university, she said, who are going to pay for it? And I can look back at that now and I can laugh. I can smile. But at the time, and I'm sure a lot of you would have had that struggle, it was a real concern. Where me I going to get the money from? You see, especially if you're bright and you know what you can give, it bothers you. It is unfortunate though that for every one of us who make it out to challenge the system, there are at least 1,000, 100 who did not. So I want you to understand where you are right now, what you're poised to become, who you are poised to become, and the space that you have been offered to do that. It was at the university that I found my purpose, and I will tell you that. When I left Calabar High School, when I left Calabar High School, to tell you the truth, coming to university was just what you do. There wasn't, okay, I'm going to the university because after 5 years, this is my purpose. You went to the university because if you're bright, when you're done sixth form, you move on. On top of that, all of your friends, them are go, what you going to do? You're not leave me, you know. So we all went. I pack up my things and I'm coming. When I first came to the university, I did not, as I said before, my mom's question was very serious. Who are going to pay for it? I did not have even $1 to pay for my tuition. Fortunately, back then, the system was not as it is now. So my first year, I had to scrape, literally, and there are opportunities on campus for employment. And every time I was faced with deregistration, the good Lord, how powerful is his name? Amen. Preach. Touch somebody and gave me a job, and I could have scraped a $50,000 a year for a semester. And it bid me time. And then I ensured that I did so well in my classes that the lecturers all had a soft spot for young Lindsay. Yeah? So whatever opportunities were out there, I ensured to position myself in such a way to take advantage of them. You scholarship recipients here, one of the things that you need to understand is that you must always position yourself and be prepared to take advantage of every single opportunity, because they will come at a premium, especially for youngsters like yourself and mine, who are born and we grew up in, as you call it, volatile communities. It is not easy. The system was built, and I speak of system in a very general sense, to let through only very few, and even fewer from backgrounds that we are from. But I'm here today to reiterate the principal's cry, to challenge the system. On October 3rd, Principal 1948, the University of the West Indies challenged the system. The system that said the only way to receive quality education is through your Oxfords and your Cambridge. The only place where you could access quality lecturers is at your Harvards and your Princetons. But in 2022, we boast 1.5, upper 1.5%, because back then we had the fortitude and the indomitable spirit to challenge the system. That is why you're here. You've already started that journey to challenge the system. And I say challenge, and I choose the word very, very carefully, not fight, because when you fight, you cause something to defend. Not rebel, because when you rebel, you cause something to repel. But to challenge, because when you challenge, you make things better. And that is why you're here. To make yourself and those around you better. And I want to speak with you quickly. And a pastor once told me that his speeches are miniskirts. Long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to foment excitement. So my speech will be just akin to that. I will not take up a lot of your time. There are three things I would like to speak to you about today. One, as I pointed out earlier, finding your purpose. Two, having the right mindset. Yeah. And three, resisting and counteracting the frictions and inertia that will inevitably seep into your growth. The first thing, finding your purpose. If you leave the university with only a degree, you would have not maximized and optimized on all that the university has to offer. Everything that you heard Ms. Harris read about my past started right here at the university. It was right here, as he pointed out earlier, when you come here, don't just go to the class and go home. Immerse yourself into the life of the University of the West Indies. You'll be surprised at what doors open up before you in assisting you to find that purpose. All that she pointed out earlier, all that I was involved in, was because I positioned myself in certain places that allowed certain opportunities to come to me. And that is what success really is, Success is that point where preparation meets opportunity. Because if you're prepared without the opportunity, it's difficult, almost impossible. You need the opportunity. But if the opportunity comes and you're not prepared, that is even worse. It is important to always be ready. And you be ready by finding what your purpose is. You find what your purpose is by immersing yourself as much as you can in what this university will have to offer. It is important in finding your purpose to align yourselves to discover your priority. You can't find your purpose without finding a way to find out what your priorities are and to demonstrate how important finding your priorities are. I went out there and I picked up some rock stone and look. And I'm going to demonstrate to you. This is something, a little demonstration I found. I'm borrowing the seat. I apologize profusely. Yeah? So this is our glass. You didn't need me telling you that. Is this glass full? How about now? Nope. No? What about now? Who's the wickedy?
But it can't
This
hold
glass, can it hold more rocks?
No.
Huh? It can't hold any more rocks. So it can't hold any more of these rocks? Correct. What does it look now? Can I hold more? How much more do you think you can hold? A lot more. Alright. I'll go find out. Can I hold more? Huh?
Not of those.
Yo, you don't think your judgment will work with me? Alright, so you can't hold any more of these rocks.
The land business is serious, man.
Very, very, very serious. You see? Is it full? More or less?
Yeah.
Now, I want you to look at this glass very carefully. I want you to remember everything I put into it in the order that I put it into this glass. You are this glass. Yeah? The rocks, they are the things that matter. Your mental health, your physical health, your family. The things that really help you to define what you want and gives you the ability to get that. Yeah? Those things are the rocks. The purple, the green and colored stones are everything that comes after that. Your degree, or what you want out of this life, your career, etc. And the sand is everything else. Distractions. What would happen if I had thrown the sand in and filled the glass before the stone? There will be no space for the stone.
Essentials.
And that is what priority is. In order to find your purpose, you must first identify what your priorities are. And you fill yourself up with those first. If you put the sun first, all you'll be is sand. But there is always space for the sand. There's always space for the sun. It is just a matter of the order in which you apply them to your life. And once you're able to identify what your priorities are, your purpose becomes a little bit clearer. On the journey, you will also find and encounter what I call friction. And given that this is a university, permit me to speak in academic lingo. For the scientists, any of you studying the sciences? Any scholarship recipient here studying the sciences? Anybody familiar with the sciences? Physics? Huh? Familiar. Well, science describes friction as that force that restricts motion of one object relative to another. In the journey and the movement towards your purpose, you will encounter friction. Friction comes in many ways, but one of the most important forms that friction takes, and Dr. Ferguson, when I heard about Dr. Ferguson's dissertation, he spoke to it, is environmental friction. And let me show you how important environmental friction is for growth and development. What do you think was the most fundamental reason why Europe underwent industrialization before other parts of the world? Anybody? What was the most fundamental reason that you think that caused Europe to be the start and seat of industrialization? Was it money? Army? Was it that then they just brighter than everybody else in the world? No. Fundamentally, it was food. Shockingly. Food. Let me tell you why. If you look at the map of Europe, it is wider than it is tall. It is unique in relation to the other continents because almost every other continent is longer than it is wide. What did that mean? It meant that Europeans could grow, harvest, nurture animals on one long band of continent from Europe all the way to Asia. Conversely, if you look at North America, South America, Africa, the minute you move outside of a particular band, the crop must change. Because what grows in Morocco will not be growing, you can't grow in Kenya. And so what that caused is a high differentiation of what can be grown. The advantage that Europe had was because they could grow pretty much the same thing right through the year. It caused an increase, a faster increase in population. And wherever population gather, there comes the need to solve that society's most pressing issues. Hence, industrialization would have begun there. That is one of the most classical examples of environmental friction spurring growth. It is very important that you are aware that your environment matters. And you must curate that environment the best you can. Because you have friends, especially those you would meet here who would distract you from finding that purpose. You have this, so much of the system, as I pointed out earlier, is set up in such a way to make you have to be working twice as hard to achieve the same things. Friction is there. And the earlier you're able to identify what represents friction for you, the better you're able to address it, prioritize, and find your purpose. But sometimes friction is inertia. Inertia is slightly different from friction. As science defines it, it is that force within a body that resists change in that body's state. Sometimes your worst enemy is yourself. And I'm here to tell you that if you have not understood it already, understand it now. It is your mindset that determines your skill set, not the other way around. Usain Bolt didn't run at 9.58 seconds out of his mother's womb. He was not born with that skill set. Cristiano Ronaldo was not born with a football at his feet, although many will try to convince you it was so. What happened was, at a certain point in their lives, they found their purpose and they told themselves that this is what I'm going to do. And when you find your purpose, it is that thing that you are not afraid or tired to work at even a little bit every single day of your life. Even if you don't get to, you're motivated to move towards that purpose a little bit every single opportunity you get. And that is the mindset that you must have at the start of this journey in finding your purpose. Resist inertia. Do not get complacent. A lot of us, we set goals for ourselves, and the minute we achieve those goals, we drop right back to square one. That is why so many people put on back the weight as soon as they lose it. I remember when I was young, I was saving up. I was supposed to save up $1,000. Them time I'm not as old as the professor, or should I say experienced. But back then I used to get $50 for lunch money. So you know, to save up $1,000 is not a boy thing. It meant whole heap of lunch breaks with ice mint and water. Yeah, it meant whole heap of sacrifices. But I set a target of $1,000 because I wanted to buy a JanSport bag. The minute I hit that $1,000, tap save. And that has happened to me plenty times over my lifetime until I found out why. The reason was because I did, instead of just setting a goal, I should have created a system. A system that I can identify with. So instead of saying I want to lose 30 pounds, say I want to eat better. You create a system where you start to portionize what you're going to eat and you stick to that. Even without setting that goal over time, it will become a part of who you are. You're not just setting a goal to say I'm going to lose 30 pounds. You're saying I'm becoming a better eater. In time, the 30 pounds, you blow past the 30 pounds without even noticing. I say that to say that sometimes setting goals without efficient systems behind it don't amount to much. Everybody can set a goal. Almost every Olympian who goes to the Olympics, the goal is to win a medal. But what separates those who do from those who don't? The system. A very important aspect of resisting that inertia, students, is learning that you must cultivate a system to align with your purpose. Without that, you're going to set goals, you're going to set goals, you're going to set goals from now. I know people who have the same goals now for 20 years without even a move towards it. And we know people from where we are from. If you talk to them, they have the most grand goals, but no system behind it. So the mindset that you have is important. And I'm going to leave you with a gem. I consider it a gem. When in doubt about how to handle a situation, be like water. What do I mean? Be like water. If you notice water, it is not haughty, it is not showy, it is not forceful unless pushed to be so. It is adaptable. It is flexible. It molds itself to find the most efficient and effective route around any obstacle. If you put something in front of it, if it cannot go over, it goes around. If it cannot go around, it goes under. If it cannot go under, you'll find a way eventually to go through. That is water. I found that one of the biggest lessons I've learned is the importance of flexibility in mind and approach. You're coming into a space now where you're going to be bombarded with so many different ways of doing things, so many different ways of being, so many different worldviews. I'm not telling you to abandon yourself, but sometimes growth includes being flexible to a new way of thinking. That is why we're at the university. To break boundaries, to think differently. Water has in its very essence the lessons that we need for growth. And a very important aspect of water on top of that is that it provides life. And the principal spoke about it earlier. Again, I told you I was just here to reinforce that your purpose makes not just you better, but those around you better as well. So as I leave here today, I'm going to once again congratulate you on reaching this far in challenging the system. But I'm also going to challenge you further, to push further than you thought you could have pushed, to keep pushing those boundaries, to be flexible, open-minded about what and who you can become and how you can impact those around you. Again, I leave you with the gem. Be like water. I thank you.
All right, we'd like to thank Mr. Lindsay, who is director of Bauxite Lands, and he could show us that he was off fay with his geography and geology when he brought us some stones, some rocks, as I would say, from outside. But he left some important gems. And you know, a presentation is good when you know that you'll have to go and research some things after we've left here. You know, we're going to have to go to Google and find out about the Industrial Revolution for those of us who never thought of it like that. So we're very happy with the dynamic presentation and, you know, the drive to challenge, not repel, but to challenge and to be like water. But I might have said enough. There is a Miss Abby J. Davis that has something special to do right now. I'm not at liberty to say, so I'll allow her to do the talking.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Dr. Burke and the Mona Social Services family, we would like to thank you for taking the time out to be here with us today and to share very insightful information that I am sure is received with great thanks.
Thank you very much.
Is that bigger grass?
All right, I probably didn't know it was a gift because then I would ask for mine, but it is a time for us all to receive a token just for us being here and being a part of this. So we're going to have a special item by Mr. Leopold Smith. Make him welcome with a round of applause, please.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, and to right the unrightable wrong, and to love pure and chaste from afar, to learn the ways of sorrow, to reach that unreachable star, to rise. Hopeless, no matter how far. Always be true.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And that was indeed a beautiful vocal rendition. And we'll now move to a testimonial from a 2020 UWI Township graduate. And this is Mr. Ricardo Williams. Please give him a round of applause as he comes to us.
Pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Nervous. Good afternoon again, all protocols observed. I'm just going to tell you a bit about Ricardo Williams before coming to the university. I grew up in the community of Augustown. I was sparring on the corner, as you would say. And I was in a gang. Now, a war broke out in the community, and me and a couple of my friends decided that we want to take a different path. So I left the community. When I came back to the community, I started to doing a lot of community work, coaching football teams and all of that. I decided, I went to Excelsior, by the way, I never got one CXC, not one. Totally joke out high school. I did some evening class at the Open Bible Outreach Center, and I got some CXCs. Started pursuing school, got a scholarship at the University of the West Indies. Give the Lord thanks for that. Okay, so scholars, my message is to you today, and I'm saying you have gotten a golden opportunity. It's not a joke. And do not take the scholarship for granted. Don't come to the university saying, yeah, I get a scholarship, I'm good. My parents don't have to pay a school fee. University is work. I don't even call it school, I call it work. Because once your semester begins, it's a total, people that work 8 hours a day, your job is probably like 13, 14, 15 hours for the day. It's a lot of studying. And it's not a joke thing. I would say to you, let the library become your best friend. Let the library become your best friend. When I did my interview at the social work department, the interviewer said to me that you are here to read for your degree. And I never knew what that meant. So when I started school, I never did I go to the library. Honestly. Because I take the teacher notes and feel like this was enough. So I just a SWAT from what the teacher posed to me. And it never did I work out. I never got good grades. So let the library become your best friend. Do a lot of research. Read and reread. This is a very serious situation. I graduated with honors, not first class, but honors. Now you have to put yourself in a frame of mind to get things done. I'm surprised now that Shene has become a doctor. I was reading the thing. Give her a round of applause. I'm a good friend. When I came to the university, she used to be a mentor to me. She used to read with me and explain certain things to me. Right? So I'm saying to you, take this opportunity and make use of it. Do not come to the university and flunk out. Do not follow friends and do not get distracted. I know you live in a community that is troubled with violence, but you can make it through. There were times when I was studying, shots were being fired. But me never met that hinder me. I kept on working because I had a goal. So I'm saying to you today, please take this golden opportunity and make use of it. Okay? Those are my few words.
I don't think it can get any better than that. We moved past bounty killing. It looked like we went to some international artists just now. So next on the program we have the UWI Township Scholars Response, and I'm going to ask Miss Kadian Shirley, who is a 2022 UWI Township Scholarship recipient, to come grace the platform. Don't be nervous. You're going international, but I'm sure that you have some lyrics of your own. So I'm going to ask Kadian Shirley to grace the platform. Make her welcome, please.
Thank you, Mr. Sundry. I'm sure you all have been listening and feel motivated, but I need to point out especially Mr. Lindsay. Thank you for reminding us to prioritize mental health. Take that, graduates. Scholars, sorry. I'm already thinking about graduation.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Principal, Professor Dale Weber. Director of the UWI Mona Western Jamaica Campus, Dr. Prendergast, Dr. Patrick Prendergast. Executive Director of the Mona Social Services UWI Community Film Project, Dr. Olivine Burke. Other distinguished guests, parents, members of staff, colleagues, a pleasant good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
It is indeed an honor to stand before you today to commemorate the receipt of the UWI Township Scholarship for the year 2022 to 2023. My name is Kadian Shirley, and I'm here to speak on behalf of all the recipients of this award. So just a brief history, even though Dr. Burke covered this before, the University of the West Indies has been changing lives in surrounding communities such as Standpipe, Augusttown, African Gardens, and Glendevon, among others, through the UWI Township Scholarship for over 10 years. As a group, we're humbled to be a part of the chosen few. Finances are one of the biggest challenges we face as university students. One would think our only concern would be our studies, but in reality, we are burdened by the thought of satisfying tuition, textbooks, and housing expenses, as our principal mentioned earlier. I'm from a small family in the community of Augusttown. Many of my counterparts lack the financial resources to pursue tertiary education. Before receiving this scholarship, I was a part-time student with a full-time job. But now the roles have changed, thank God. I'm now a full-time student with a part-time job. This scholarship allows me to work fewer hours and devote more time to my studies and school-related activities. And for that, I am exceedingly grateful. This opportunity is not only financial, it provides individual growth through activities such as personal development sessions, mentorship programs, and community service. And I must say, I did not think I would be enjoying my community service as much as I am, but I'm now able to work alongside a teacher that taught me when I was going there. It's a great experience. Please allow me to share with you a video we created as a token of our appreciation. Hi, my name is Kadian Shirley. Here is a compilation of the gratitude from the UWI Township Scholars 2022-2023. Roll.
Hello everyone, I'm Danny Mendez and I'm so grateful for this scholarship because it's given me the chance to really achieve my dreams.
This is Jaime Grant. I am very grateful for this opportunity as it will assist me in pursuing my degree at this institution, and once again I'd like to say thank you for that.
Hi, my name is Lehana Sato, and this scholarship has allowed me to continue to pursue my dreams of becoming an attorney at law. It has not only helped me financially, but has inspired me to continue to grow as an individual as I learn the values instilled here at the Mona Social Services.
My name is Donna Robinson, and I'd like to say a big thank you because without your help, this wouldn't have been possible.
Before receiving this scholarship, I had to devote most of my time to work to ensure I was able to cover for tuition and other school expenses. After receiving this scholarship, I'm now able to devote my full attention to my studies to give it my best. And for that, I'll be forever grateful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Deontay Ellis. I'm really honored and grateful to be a Township Scholar, and I'm looking forward to the entire experience.
see how grateful we are. In closing, on behalf of all the recipients, we are grateful to all who made this possible. We have been placed on an unforeseeable pedestal. Your investment has made an incredible mark on our lives, and I can confidently say that the individuals we will become will make an impact in our communities, our country, and the world. And we will equally be generous investors in the lives of others. I leave you with wise words from the late U.S. President John F. Kennedy, and I quote, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them, and that we will." Thank you to all who made this possible. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to achieve greatness in a dynamic world. Thank you.
And that was Miss Katie Shirley. Give her another round of applause. And the scholarship recipients, you know, they really took some time to make that video. As a matter of fact, I'm wondering who did the editing, because, you know, they look like they got it all right and they got it together, so we could really see how grateful they are. Now we're at a point in the program where we'll be awarding certificates, and I'm going to invite, it's 6 recipients. I'm going to invite the principal up for the first 3 recipients, and as I call your name, you're going to come, and of course the photographer will take the photos of you receiving these scholarships. And I'm going to start with Miss Katie Shirley. Please give her a round of applause as she
up front. Congratulations.
All right. Next, we have Donnell Robinson. Please give her a round of applause. Make her welcome.
This is Miss Marine Biology. We need to talk. Congratulations.
And the principal says that because he himself is in the sciences, we have Jaim Grant. Please make him welcome.
Now you're too cool. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Principal. I'm going to ask Dr. Burke to join us as we give to the other 3 recipients, starting with Lehana Sachel. I think this is our law.
So she needs moral support.
Okay.
Up front.
Next we have Deontay Ellis.
I've been tasked with giving the vote of thanks this evening, and I think it is only appropriate that I start off with thanking the person who is first and foremost responsible for ensuring that these scholarships are available today. Coming out of the pandemic, as we all hunker down in survival mode while we try to weather this inflationary storm in these difficult financial times, we're very lucky to have a principal who realizes that even as we cut back to ensure the sustainability of the university, there are some things that are a necessity. We're lucky to have a principal who realizes that it is during these times that our students need our help the most. Professor Dale Weber, through the Office of the Principal, has once again ensured that we're able to give back to the community while supporting education through these scholarships that we're able to reward today. And for that, we say thank you. None of this would have been possible without your continued support. Dr. Olivine Burke, I know you're always saying that teaching is your first love. So it's only natural that you'd be passionate about ensuring that the Mona Social Services UWI Community Film Project does their part to ensure that these persons are given the opportunity to pursue their education. Thank you for your continued commitment to ensuring that these scholarships are a priority every year. Dr. Prendergast, thank you so much for attending all the way from the city of Mobile. And thank you for your remarks. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Kemoy Lindsay, thank you for taking the time to give a very spirited and educational address. Mr. Ricardo McAlpin, thank you for your heartfelt remarks. And Mr. Ricardo Williams, thank you for that very inspirational testimonial. Mr. Leopold Smith, thank you for entertaining us this evening. You have a very beautiful voice. Sandre, with an accent on the E, Roden, thank you for being our MC this afternoon. Great job as usual. A big thank you to the organizers, Angela Harris, for making all of this possible and planning this event. Horatio Davis for supporting our tech team. Akeem Lee, Rosalie Murphy, and E.K. Patterson, thank you all so much, as well as Tina Griffiths, as you're around there. It was a lovely event, and we can't wait to provide even more opportunities for students next year. Thank you to our selection committee for taking the time out to select the very best candidates this year. To our specially invited guests, family, friends, and well-wishers, thank you for taking the time to come out and be here today while we celebrate with our new scholarship recipients. And finally, to our scholarship recipients, we know you have other options, so thank you for choosing the University of the West Indies as your place to shine. We're all rooting for you, and we know that you'll make us proud. Congratulations and welcome to the MSS UWICFP family. Thank you, everyone.
All right, I really have nothing else to say. She did all the thanks, and she got my name right, so I guess she's on the right track this evening. But we were indeed within time, despite being a little bit tired with time. We are within our 2 to 4 as it's on the program, and I'm happy about that. I like when events are to the time, Mr. Principal. So we want to thank you all for being here, and I'm sure I enjoyed your company, and I'm sure you did mine, right? Right? Yes, okay. Somebody at the back didn't answer, but I'll hold them to it. All right, so we have refreshments to the side and photo opportunities for the scholars. I'm asking you guys to come up front, take some photos, and thank you guys for being here. Have a good rest of your evening.